We're all social media influencers. If you're on social media and you post anything and you have a network of friends, no matter how large or small, you're an influencer. And that term, that title, that name has gotten a bad rap because we think of like YouTubers and Instagram models and TikTok, whatever's. No, we all have an influence over somebody else who sees our content, whether you want to call it a content, a post, just a picture, a meme, a cat video, your lunch, whatever it has been or will continue to be in this metaverse. We're all social media influencers. And with that, we all have a responsibility. Now, I understand, like, you can go back to the Charles Barkley early 90s campaign where he said, I am not a role model. And you can say it's not my responsibility, but it is. It is. Just like our freedoms of speech still have parameters put on them because there are dangers and detriments that can come from it. So the actions, the attitudes, while it may not be governed by law, it should be governed by human decency. Sometimes the things we say, sometimes the tones that we put out, the sentiments that we know are snarky, that we know are inflammatory, that we know are going to go after somebody who's going to read it. That's an influence. And now the question is, how much positive influence are we putting out there versus how much negative influence are we putting out there? It's the same. We want to receive that positivity, but we still end up spewing out a negativity. Not all the time. But we're all influencers. And so when we tag this title onto other people who have just done it on a much larger scale, we're still the same in the context that we have a certain power, and I dare say, again, a responsibility to control our own content and to really put out the best message possible. Now, it doesn't mean that it always has to be bubbly, things like that. It can be certainly be real, but a lot of times people are just not doing even that, the bare minimum. A lot of times we're seeing people now just spreading false information just because. Whoever just thought just to walk up to people and lie to them, we would call them a certain sort of person. When it came to that, we would say, like, what's wrong with you mentally that's, and there's probably a psychologist that would give it a particular title, whether it's sociopath or whatever else. Just to do that for entertainment is a wild and sad sentiment. It's a wild and sad statement about where we have gotten with such a beautiful tool of technology to be able to communicate all over the world. And this is where we're at times. Now, it's not all the time. I see some awesome posts. I see some amazing things, but there's always a battle of good and bad, and we need more good people posting their stuff. Like we've always said with the news is an influence too. And what do we see? We see the deaths, we see the crime, we see all of these things, but we don't see the balance of that a lot of times. We need to see more of the good because they both have an influence on us. And I think that over time, when you're just exposed to something that is negative, that keeps you on guard, it wears us, it ages us, it hardens us, it makes us have to think we have to be more on guard rather than accepting of what other people are bringing. And it's work that we all have to collectively do. We're all influencers. Hopefully, what I'm posting today has a positive influence on somebody, and it will invite you to join formats not only like mine, but other positive ones, and start spreading your own positive words as well. I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.